And after I graduated, I started to work at several jobs, such as being an entrepreneurship development officer in Singapore. I worked as a derivatives trader, as a flight attendant in Singapore Airlines, and eventually as a customer research coordinator in Doha, Qatar. And throughout all of these jobs, I have found that I have been able to apply whatever I've learned in the school techniques, and it has made me really, really efficient and effective in my job and in my life as well. And then when I was in Doha, Qatar, I met Troy, my husband. We fell in love and we got married and we moved to the Bay Area. So what I was saying earlier is that I feel that there's this toolbox that Clavision has given me with the various different techniques, which I'm going to slightly elaborate on right now. And what I found that has happened for me in my life is that there's this force of enthusiasm, strength and courage to live and face the challenges in my daily life, to not be a victim of my circumstances. So relocating is like major decisions, and it's not something that's easy. And I've done it twice by now, once to Qatar and now here. And in terms of navigating, in terms of major life decisions, this is what I've applied techniques to tune in high above and to see if this aligns with my highest truth. And once I've gotten that vision or the decision to move in a certain direction, to just trust in that and to continue with the course, no matter how difficult it might be. When I moved to the Bay Area about 2.5 years ago, I actually used the techniques to be able to find a place that I like to live, well as find a job that I liked. I tried several jobs in the Bay Area, and they were pretty good, but I feel that I wanted something more, and I feel that I wanted to contribute my skills to working for an organization of life, or something that makes sense to me. And I went for this talk by a Wharton alumni in San Francisco, and she mentioned about how she applied the business skills to working for social enterprise. And using the Clavision techniques, I actually caught some inspiration from that talk, and holding that inspiration above, I searched for jobs in the Bay Area that I could go to that could match that inspiration or that wanting to contribute in a way. And so I actually applied the techniques when I found the job in Fairtrade USA, and I applied the techniques when I went for the interview by holding that inspiration or intention space above. So what the technique of the school has allowed me to do is to have vision, to know how I can present myself in an interview, and to also have discernment on whether this is a group of company, to tune into the culture of the company, or whether this is what I want to work for and to be in. So that helped me in terms of the Clavision techniques to be effective in getting a job, being in interviews and stuff like that. Also in my daily work, one of the techniques that I've used is working with centers of energies above my head, and in Clavision it's called verticality. And so one of the things is that in your daily life and at work, sometimes you can get really tired and you can, be really feel sluggish after a meeting, or just sitting in front of the computer, like there are lull periods. And the technique that in Clavision has helped me is working with centers of energies above the head. It's what we call uplifting, where you learn how to pull up energies from below to just pull yourself, it gets rid of all the sluggishness, and it allows me to refocus and to be effective and alert when I meet people, and then to continue to work through my job, my work day. I've also used the techniques when I'm at meetings or when I'm doing project management at work. So for example, the part of asking questions in school, the training that has helped me with that is when I get a new project, I will look at the project from a very holistic point of view, and then I will tune in above to get information about how I can unpack it. And so things will just kind of fall into place, and I can know very fast like how to coordinate with the different people and like different parts of the job, because in an organization where there are like many people to coordinate, you kind of need to stay on top of things and be very sharp and very fast about how you do things. So all of these techniques really help me in my daily life. And if you realize I have not really spoken about sitting for 20 minutes in the morning, and these are all techniques that I brought into my life at work. Another thing that I've used is also what we call resting on the device. And the device is this term that the school has about a place where you can rest your consciousness. So before Clavision, before I learned about the technique of the device, by default, where I'm resting my consciousness is on my ordinary mental consciousness. So it will be on the level where I'm thinking, it will be where I'm hearing my thoughts, it will be where I'm listening to things in my head. But with Clavision, learning about the device, it became that I had a choice. Like I didn't have to rest on my thoughts. I can actually rest on my third eye. And third eye and using like another technique called the throat friction. And all these techniques would be what you would learn as you progress in school and in the ATE that's coming up. The Awakening the Third Eye workshop that's coming up in June, where I could learn to like recenter my focus into my third eye, and then there will be a stillness, and it helps me be present. So there are different techniques of being present, like going to your breath or watching your thoughts. But this technique of being in the device is my experience is that it's really immediate and just kind of do this, And then I'll be like hyper alert, and I'll be like yes, and I can start doing things really fast, and I can start like, all right, you want this, you want that, and like there is this way of almost like multitasking at a very still level without hearing the chatter in my head. And dynamic awareness. So this is linked to the device, where, like for example, dynamic awareness means that it's this awareness where, like in meditation, you would kind of go above and feel really still in your meditation, but you're not moving. Dynamic awareness is still capturing that flavor of stillness in your meditation, but in your daily life. So I use it when I'm driving, like to be super hyper aware